Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. Today, Delhi has got its ninth Chief Minister. Rekha Gupta has just taken oath a short while back as the Delhi Chief Minister. And she's a fresh face, no controversies, no major controversies. And BJP largely has sent out a strong message to its women voters. It has tried to continue the legacy of the women chief ministers, be it Sheila Dikshit, be it Atishi Singh, be it Sushma Swaraj, of all the people. Now, Rekha Gupta has also been the vice president of the BJP Mahila Morcha. So, there again a strong message to the women voters. She belongs to the Vaishya community, which basically is the traditional voter base of the BJP. But the big question now is that will Rekha Gupta or can she assert herself as the chief minister, like Sheila Dikshit, like Atishi Singh, or maybe like other chief ministers? Will she be able to assert herself, or will she be remote controlled by the Raisina Hills? And what happens to the role of the LG now? Because in the past, when Aam Aadmi Party was in power, LG's office more or less was used to put a spanner into whatever policy decisions Aam Aadmi Party was taking. Now, what is going to be the role of the Lieutenant Governor as well? We'll try and find out answers. And also, what about the cabinet ministers? Rekha Gupta is going to have six cabinet ministers, major ones being Parvesh Sahib Singh Verma, then Ashish Sood, Kapil Mishra, and several others are there, Manjinder Singh Sirsa. So there is a right combination of regional and caste balance as well. And so, what are the big takeaways? And while she's being sworn in, there are several videos and old tweets of Rekha Gupta which have resurfaced where she is used some sort of indecent language as well. Some videos are out where she has been into a fist fight during the MCD elections. So all of this is getting into a muddled picture, but we'll try and find out answers to what the Delhi governance will look like from now on. Joining me now is Puneet Nicholas Yadav, senior editor with the Federal. Thank you so much, Puneet, for joining. TK Rajlakshmi, Senior Deputy Editor with the Frontline. Thank you so much. And I'll begin with Puneet. Puneet, Rekha Gupta has just been sworn in along with her six cabinet ministers. Now, if you look at the cabinet especially, what does the picture look like? And I'll begin with the cabinet and then move on to other points. Yes, Puneet.
Well, as far as the cabinet is concerned, see, barring Parvesh, who's been two-term MP, one-term MLA, I believe, in the past, and Kapil Mishra, who was a minister during the AAP government. He was earlier with the AAP. He moved to the BJP. The other four are not, people who have any sort of administrative experience or any great electoral experience, just like the Delhi Chief Minister. I mean, it's not a question in that sense of whether they are administratively very skilled hands. So by and large, of course, there are the messages of balancing caste aspirations. They've picked a Sikh, Jat, a Dalit. So in that sense, the messaging is, of course, for balancing caste equations. That's also sort of an extension of what we've seen in Delhi, because from the early days of the 1990s, when you had a BJP government, the last one they had 27 years ago, there have been major changes in the caste and the ethnic composition of Delhi. So it's no longer a Punjabi Baniya dominated city state. You have to cater to the Jats, you have to cater to the Punjabis, of course, the Baniyas, and the Purvanchali voters. So all those considerations have been kept in mind. But whether it is the chief minister or her cabinet, I do not really want to place a lot of premium on what they bring to the table in terms of their administrative skills, because the fact of the matter remains, whether it is this government or the Aam Aadmi Party government, uh, in its second term particularly,
Right.
the Delhi government does not have the powers uh, of a full state government, or even in the current scenario, even a half state government. Their powers have largely been taken away, systematically. It's a city state run largely by the LG, by the center through the LG. So, and since you have the same political party running both the center and the Delhi government, you'll largely see whatever Raisina Hill wants, whatever the prime minister wants. I For the lack of a better phrase, I'd say that not just the chief minister but the entire Delhi cabinet would largely be a rubber stamp government of
Right.
carrying forward whatever the prime minister wants them to do with regard to Delhi. Uh, now, it will be perhaps beneficial for the Delhi voter in the sense that the acrimony one saw between the LG and the government of the Aam Aadmi Party will not be seen now, or at least that is the expectation. And there may be a kind of sense that the government and the LG office are both on the same page. But whether it actually translates into real good governance, the tall promises they've made during the elections, whether they get fulfilled, all that is too early to say. But at least to my mind, administratively, I don't see, I don't get any kind of confidence from the current crop of the cabinet ministers or even the Delhi chief minister.
Right. In fact, Rekha Gupta, while as we speak, in a short while from now, I think is going to hold the first cabinet meeting. She's also has a visit to the Yamuna River lined up. But coming back to the question of Rekha Gupta, Rajlakshmi, what do you think has forced BJP to pick on Rekha Gupta and no other female face? Is it competence? Is it loyalty? Is it some other factor? Why do you think that Rekha Gupta was made the CM?
I think primarily that she's, I think, non-controversial. I think given the profile of several of their top slayers in that sense, several of them have been in the news, for wrong reasons. Of course, there are certain videos, etc., which are circulating about certain actions of Rekha Gupta's also, and certain utterances which are quite problematic. Uh, but uh, but I think overall, I think she appears to be slightly less controversial as compared to the others. So her acceptability in that sense, perhaps is a perhaps a notch more, and perhaps she also, I think, carries with her, carries with her, or in fact, lacks perhaps the let's say the lobbying kind of effect, or the lobbying that that normally accompanies people who have been in the public space for quite some time, so as compared to maybe to Parvesh Verma or to Kapil Mishra or to a few others, she has not been in that sense in the limelight to carve a very special constituency for herself because of not very controversial reasons that accompany her profile. So I think from all these points of view, perhaps they picked her because also sensing that she would not be a troublemaker. She would not sort of maybe split the party, or maybe not do things which we say others could, if they were left out. And I think, in fact, accommodating the others also, like Kapil Mishra and Parvesh Sharma, has been, I think, a necessity. I mean, I do not think that the BJP RSS had so much a choice, because in fact, when the names were called out, the kind of response that came from the audience was quite startling, which and already talks have been going around, that Parvesh Sharma should have been the choice, because he was a giant slayer. He I mean he defeated Kejriwal after all. So but I think keeping it with the trend of the way chief ministers have been picked up, this was not an unusual, unusual outcome. So from that point of view, I mean, everybody expected, that there would be a surprise element here.
No, but I'm
And
sure people would discuss. It was BJP unfair to Sahib Parvesh Verma. I mean, given the fact that he was a giant slayer, he defeated Arvind Kejriwal. Everybody expected that, and the manner in which he was walking on the first day when the victory speech of Prime Minister happened, and he was walking all broad shouldered in the middle of the BJP office. Everybody thought that he would at the end of the day be made the chief minister, but that didn't happen. So somewhere down the line, Rajlakshmi, do you feel that BJP was unfair to him?
Well, I don't think that anybody. I mean, at least for parties which claim to have ideology, at least this sense of entitlement is actually astute. Everybody is basically told that you can't aspire, you can't have aspirations of that kind. Because ideologically you are bound by whatever the party decides. So you are an ordinary karyakarta, even if you win by a huge margin, or you defeat very important people on the other side, you continue to be first, a karyakarta, right? So I think factionalism to that extent, in fact, gets curbed. So this whole thing about internal discipline structures, etc., are there. So you'll find actually in parties which also include the left, which are ideologically, which have a strong ideological grounding, right? And of course the BJP also, to an extent, because now we can't say that about the BJP, because the manner in which they have imported so many people from other parties, so the whole issue of ideology gets a little bit tainted in that sense in their case, you know. But at least they can at least wave it in front of everybody and say that that you have to stick by that, but by things of party discipline and ideology, and they would use this against those who would attempt to create factions within the party. But I think it's a fear of factionalism also which has just compelled them to get Parvesh Sharma on the to be part of the cabinet. They couldn't keep him out. They couldn't keep him out. Also because he represents a fairly influential community caste-wise, in the city. So this entire cabinet, choice, as of Puneet also sort of mentioned, is representative of various sections, I think, which the BJP presumes has sort of supported it, I mean, a fairly large manner. So you have somebody from the SC community, you have Sirsa from the Sikhs, and you have the Purvanchalis represented by Kapil Mishra, and you have one, in fact, Pankaj Kumar Singh. I mean, this is first election, in fact. So it could be quite possible to, that's for the upper caste votes, so I think overall they have done this social engineering in the selection of the cabinet, and then you have a non-controversial figure at the top, Rekha Gupta, who will seemingly keep them all together. But ultimately we all know who's going to be calling the shots behind.
True, true. But Puneet, these old tweets of Rekha Gupta are being, I mean, they are doing the rounds on the social media. Then there is a video where she's talking about how the students of JNU are unnecessarily, trying to go on strike. She's talking about the free electricity, free water, and all those things. Then there's another video of hers which is on the social media getting viral, where she's getting into a fist fight during the MCD elections. She tries to pull the podium, and then she's throwing off the mic and all of that. So is this an unnecessary controversy generated at this point of time, because social media is talking about it right now?
No, well, I mean, I don't know how it's an unnecessary or a necessary controversy. I mean, the fact is that those aren't morphed videos or morphed tweets.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are her own videos and her own tweets. So, and might I add, one needn't be politically correct, to analyze what's going on. The fact is that whatever message those videos and those tweets send across are actually the basic criteria within the BJP to rise to the top.
True.
And she fits that bill. Aside from the other big criteria that a person who is to be made chief minister should in no way uh, have a mind of his or her own, should take the diktats from New Delhi, and should not have an individual political heft. We've seen that in every single choice of the BJP chief ministers, barring Adityanath. And we know how that is panning out between the Prime Minister and the UP Chief Minister. And Himanta Biswa Sharma, who is not Chief Minister because, he's, I'd say, not Chief Minister purely because of his political heft, but because of the other things that he brings to the table with regard to, the kind of politics that he's practicing, the monies that he brings to the table in terms of the election machinery for the BJP, the network in the Northeast and all of that. But other than these two, you name one chief minister of the BJP who is a break from this tradition, and I'm not talking about just the chief ministers made in the last 2 or 3 years, from 2014 onwards, whether it is ML Khattar, Nayab Singh Saini, Pushkar Dhami, Vishnudev Sai, Mohan Yadav, all of them are of the same league. None of them great administrators, none of them with any individual political capital. All of them basically made, in Uttarakhand before Dhami, you had Trivendra Singh Rawat, Tirath Singh Rawat, Gujarat, Bhupender Patel. Whoever the prime minister blesses becomes the chief minister. And the Delhi chief minister, I don't know if she's changed her, what is that called, Twitter bio. But I was seeing that yesterday. She proudly says, "Blessed to be followed by Prime Minister Modi."
Mm. No, but Puneet, what I'm intrigued about is that one should also talk about the mindset of Rekha Gupta, because the videos which I saw, there are not many, just few videos which are there on the social media. In one, she says, JNU ko band kar dena chahiye. She says that all these 50-year-old students staying in the hostel, they are asking for free electricity. They wear jeans worth thousands of rupees. Then she talks about they carry phones worth 2 lakh and 1 lakh. And why do they need free electricity? Or JNU ko band kar dena chahiye, that's what she says. Then in one of her tweets, she's using an abusive language for Arvind Kejriwal, that because Arvind Kejriwal apparently had demanded a video proof of the surgical strike which happened years back. And to that, there is an old 2016 tweet to which he has replied. And I'm not going to read out that, but then she's used abusive language. So the manner in which she's talking about students, the manner she's treating her political opponents, what does that say about the New Delhi chief minister?
No, well, as I said, that is the basic requirement in the BJP to become chief minister, and she fulfills that requirement. See, I do not, for a second, fall into this. This, I believe, this argument that a Parvesh Sahib Singh Verma has been made, was included in the cabinet because the prime minister or the home minister feared that he would rebel, and what will happen to our government then. It is a very clear message. See, one, making Parvesh chief minister, I'm not going into whether he is a better candidate for chief minister or Rekha is a better candidate. I think all of them are pretty much the same, but see, when it comes to Parvesh, he's Sahib Singh Verma's son, who was also, Delhi chief minister. The prime minister has been going on and on about, dynastic politics. So, a dynasty CM did not fit into that argument. into that
But do you
narrative.
think that was the
There
sole?
may be various other dynasts as ministers and all of that, which the BJP very easily manages to gloss over. But
No,
a
but do you
dynast
think
as CM,
major reason? But is that the major reason why Parvesh Verma was given a short shrift and he was not considered for the CM post? This a major reason? So that
no,
you know.
one isn't saying that he was not considered at all.
Hmm,
After all, despite a very clear majority, they did take 2 weeks to decide the CM.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you just go back 2 years when the Karnataka elections happened and the Congress won a very clear mandate and took 5 days to decide their chief minister, the BJP went to town. I mean, what is going on? The results have come out. It's been 5 days. They've not been able to decide CM. Here you've taken for 12 days, 13 days to decide your CM despite having a very clear majority. So naturally, there would have been consultations. The pros and cons of each choice would have been, analyzed by the prime minister, by the home minister, by the RSS. Rekha Gupta, let's not forget, not only has she been, pretty active in Delhi politics, she's been a three-term corporator, councillor, she's been, with the ABVP, she's been with the Mahila Morcha, but she also comes from a very strong RSS background, from her husband's side of the family. So there is also a very, very strong RSS backing to her candidature. I'm not saying that that is not the case with regard to Parvesh or any of the others. Whether it is Vijender Gupta or the others who were eyeing that spot. But the point I'm making is, irrespective of whether they've made the cut as the cabinet minister or the Delhi chief minister, the fact remains these are all handouts that have been given to them from the high command of the BJP, and they know it very well. It's a very clear message to Parvesh that this is what we are willing to give you. Take it or leave it. I mean, he was benched as he was a sitting MP, a two-term MP. He was benched. He was told that you go and contest from New Delhi constituency. He went and contested. New Delhi was not his traditional seat. When he was MLA the last time around, he was MLA from Mehrauli.
True, that's right.
But
No,
in the
but what?
BJP, you are not given options.
Right. Uh,
You're told this is what you have to do, and
yeah,
or this is what we're going to give you. Take it or leave it,
yeah. No, no,
and that
that's
is
true.
what all of them do.
Right. One more question to you, Puneet, before I go on the question of the Lieutenant Governor. To you, Puneet, what about the crop of the older leaders? Now, the older leaders, it seems, older generation, I mean, of the Delhi leaders, they have been sidelined, and the new crop of leaders now has come up. So, what happens? I'm sure they will be disgruntled. They must be feeling the heat that we've put so many years into Delhi BJP and we were there on the ground, but even then, no consideration. How do they vent out their anger? Are we going to see that anger seething, or as what the BJP script looks like always, that no one is going to speak and no one will be allowed to speak?
Well, I think they'll grumble a little privately, but I don't really see any possibility of them coming out and making a scene. And as far as Delhi is concerned, systematically over the last 10 years, the entire old crop of Delhi leaders have been, shunted out in different ways, whether it was OP Kohli, whether it was Jagdish Mukhi, all of them. And
Yeah.
see, 2015 elections, 2020 elections, and now and 2013 elections. The BJP MLAs in 2015 who managed to win in 2015 despite a very strong Aam Aadmi Party wave, those who managed to win in 2020 despite an Aam Aadmi Party wave, none of them have made the cut as ministers. Mohan Singh Bisht, the and it's an extension of what I was saying in my earlier view that during the election, fine, you throw a fit. If the party thinks that you're in a position to damage electorally, they might adjust you somewhere. So Mohan Singh Bisht was that kind of a case where he was denied a ticket despite having won the assembly elections in 2022. But within a day, he was adjusted from a neighboring constituency, and he won handsomely. But he's not been inducted. And he's a old-time BJP member. He's got his own standing. He comes from the Pahadi community, uh, which has a substantial presence in parts of, in different pockets of Delhi. But the High Command made it very clear to him that no, fine, we gave you a ticket, you've won again and as MLA, thank you, sit down. The same applies to OP Sharma. OP Sharma managed to win in 2015, managed to win in 2020. When none of these other, the even the you know more experienced of the BJP leaders managed to win, but he's not made the cut as a minister this time round. Vijender Gupta, who's been Delhi BJP president, he's been standing committee chief of the municipal corporation. He's consistently been winning assembly elections 2013, 2015, 2020. He was not inducted in the cabinet.
Right.
So systematically, I mean, one can say that they're starting with a clean slate in that sense. A completely new, a sort of the Gujarat model that they adopted when they made Bhupinder Patel the CM and changed the entire cabinet of Gujarat, in an overnight decision. So, in that sense, you could look at it as starting from a clean slate. You could look at it as completely sidelining the old crop, starting afresh with a new leadership. Uh, the choice is yours, but that to say that any of them actually matter in the larger scheme of things, I think is a great exaggeration. I don't think any of them, uh, as long as the reins of the party, the command center of the party is with, Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, I don't think any of them matter. All of them are expendable.
Right. True. Rajlakshmi, now coming to the question of the LG, uh, is his role now going to be curtailed because there is a BJP chief minister? And I'm sure, like Puneet said, that the cabinet looks like a rubber stamp cabinet. They will go by what the Raisina Hill wants. And I'm sure Rekha Gupta will do the same. What happens to the LG now? Are we not going to see him in that limelight the way in which he used to appear during Kejriwal's times, or for that matter, even Atishi's times, though it was short lived? Is his utility going to be like, is he actually going to become redundant in the scheme of Delhi things now?
Well, Nilu, I mean, I don't see, that that he's going to play, a troublemaker's role anymore. I mean, he's not going to make it difficult, definitely. He's not going to be seen as, sending the files back to the Delhi cabinet now and then, as he used to do. He's not
Yeah.
going to, usurp the powers and then be sort of struck down by the Supreme Court. So I do not think he's going to do all those things. I think he's going to play ball essentially, and he will ensure that that things move smoothly, and I mean it's not going to be an impediment in that sense. So his roles are in any case quite clearly defined. I mean, he was just taking extra interest because there was a different
Am
government
I-
that was heading it at that time. So his statements also, his public statements, I mean, we'll see I think a remarkable change. I think, and it will be quite clear to everybody, I hope, the people of Delhi, at least, the of the kind of role that the LG has played in these elections, to kind of convey that there's been complete breakdown between him and the Delhi government, etc. And now because there's a new government and that they're very extremely pleasing people at the helm of office, therefore, everything is very hunky and hunky and well, nobody's going to really buy that argument. So I think he'll confine himself to his roles, unless, of course, the entire statehood issue sort of comes up. Then the LG doesn't have a role in that sense. But then the onus is now in the BJP. In fact, I don't even recall, uh, whether they mentioned or promised statehood in their electoral manifesto. They didn't. They had a list of other issues to be resolved, to be offered to the people, but I do not think that statehood was one of them. And as far as all these various allocations, financial allocations to almost every section in society, from agriculturists to students to auto drivers to, it's complete plethora, including women, of course. I mean, all these things can be sort of taken back, with an executive order. I mean, does it? I mean, they are not really, sort of legislated upon. So they're just schemes, and promises. A scheme can always be discontinued. So I think a lot remains to be seen, as to how these things pan out. And
Right.
well, yeah.
Right. So a lot needs to be implemented and the kind of promises they made. And of course, all eyes would be on that. But one quick question to you, Puneet, before I wind up the show, that what is Aam Aadmi Party now going to be doing with 22 MLAs? How is the opposition going to make itself relevant now? And as you said, it's like a rubber stamp cabinet. Everything is going to be running through Raisina Hills. Uh, how much space will opposition really get? Will Aam Aadmi Party be able to assert itself as a potential opposition?
Well, there are two things here, Neelu. One, in my view, one, if there is one very clear message from the cabinet formation and the choice of the CM, it is that the BJP is not going to give any quarter to the Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is in the assembly or in the wider political landscape of Delhi, because whether it's the chief minister or Parvesh or Kapil Mishra or Ashish Sood, all of them are have this extreme combative political streak when it comes to the Aam Aadmi Party and its leadership, and their terms are extremely acrimonious. So, I mean, the Aam Aadmi Party cannot expect to to have it easy with this government, or that cornering it in the assembly is going to be an easy thing to do. So that's certainly one clear message from the cabinet. The other aspect of it is, let's wait and see who the Aam Aadmi Party now chooses as its leader in the Delhi Assembly, because Kejriwal is in there, Manish is in there. So whether they decide to back Atishi, or they pull out some other surprise, or it's someone like Gopal Rai, whether they are more conciliatory here on because of the various cases and all of that, or whether they go back to their original combative, almost anarchic kind of politics. So a lot of how Delhi will be governed, how the assembly will function, will also depend on the choices that the Aam Aadmi Party makes.
Right.
But the message from the BJP side to the Aam Aadmi Party, I think, is rather clear, that we're not going to give you a very easy time.
Okay, so definitely not easy times, but yes, how Rekha Gupta begins her innings, how does it function as far as Raisina Hills is concerned? What's going to be the role of LG? What is Aam Aadmi Party going to do? These are important questions, and I'm sure everybody will be glued on to get answers to these questions. Thank you so much. We'll have to end it here. Puneet, Rajlakshmi, thanks so much. And we'll continue with our Hindi discussion right after this on Federal Desh. Thank you so much.